Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Women on the Move interview. This is Amelia Felbinger with the Be Happy Business, and that is your hub for lighting up the life in what you are creating out there in the world. So today is indeed Women on the Move. This is this interview series that I hold to look to connect you to someone who I think is making very impactful, important moves in the world. Especially, I'm excited to offer this in this time when we can all learn from each other even more deeply about authentic ways to be out there adding value and building businesses in what we're doing. So one of the best people who I think you could hear from about this is Boule. She's an award-winning dancer, choreographer. She teaches all around the world, and she is the founder of MBodyRadiance, where she works with clients uniquely pairing her vast backgrounds in movement and in healing, many different echelons of work in healing in her life, to create something that I think is really special in how she guides clients to personal breakthroughs. So I met her through my sister, who's a professional dancer. So learned of her in the dance world years back. And I hired her to do some EFT body talk tapping work on myself, which I absolutely loved and has now become a part of what she does. And since then, we've just remained friends, and I've so loved following her beautiful, developing professional journey. So without further ado, Michelle, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're so welcome. Your story has built upon itself so beautifully. Will you share how it started and where it's grown to?
Sure. I'm a dancer, as you mentioned, and that has been, and I feel like will continue to be, a huge part of my life. It may mean that I'm not necessarily continuing to perform on stages in the way I have, even, up until this year, but I think at its core, what it has helped me understand is how to make movement in your life. And I would often say learning to dance well is learning to live well. So one of the biggest things I got through dancing was getting injured. And it taught me that, it led me to more holistic understandings of the body. And it taught me that anything that seems like a disappointment can turn into an opportunity. Mm. And through these injuries, I was led to learning about different energy medicine modalities, learning about mindset and psychology, going into spiritual practices. And all of that, like from early on, I think I remember when I first started teaching professionally in New York when I was like 21, and I was like, how can I figure out how to work on what's a challenge in my life through movement? And in the way that I'm working now, and it's been great, I've been building this online practice, and now that we can't be in person with each other temporarily, I can, I'm doing this work, and essentially through the injury, through researching energy medicine, I have come to the awareness, the truth that we are consciousness. And when we work on that level, the physical follows, the health of your body, the health of your business, your bank account, your relationships. So all of that to me is movement. And as a choreographer too, it's like, how do we arrange this to make something possible? Because the way you are arranged right now is making something possible. And sometimes we don't realize that. It's like you are an active, powerful agent in what you're creating. So being a dancer, as you said, winning awards, like dancing all over the world, I loved it so much. And that was part of it too. I loved it. And I wanted to just figure out, how do I do this as best as possible? And it did take taking like a metaphorical microscope to that work and being able to align it to make the most beautiful thing possible that I could do at the time, or that I could imagine and then step into. So just to like sum all of that up, it's movement to me. And at the basis of that too is love and creativity.
That is so fantastic.
Thank you.
And so that's a wonderful intro. Will you take us further into how that is brought to life through programs and the ways that you coach with clients?
Sure. I think part of it is is I can sense where and how people are blocked. It's like I have read, and I don't even have to be talking all the time. Again, like I think because I was so tuned into the physical, it tuned me into the energetic, it tuned me into what's the thinking behind this pattern? What's the thinking behind watching this person's face if we're doing an online session, their body language, how they're breathing. And I know, like, from dancing, like, to find a space of freedom, I have had many experiences of resonating with that. Like, it's like I can feel it in myself. When am I in a space of freedom, trust, love? When am I shut down? When am I manipulating myself or other people? So, I learned the body talk system in 2007. That created a huge foundation for how I work with people, although I rarely am working with someone on a table anymore, massage table. But I go into dialogue with people. I want to hear their stories. I want to stop them where they're recycling a story that's not serving them. I want to look at their belief systems. I want to look at their challenges. Like I said, for me, the challenge is the pivot point. It's the turning point to birth something new. That's why you keep running up against it. And I trust there's a wisdom in that. So it's like, oh, instead of being really frustrated, it's like, yeah, sure, maybe be frustrated, but also like, there's like put a little sprinkle a huge sprinkle of gratitude in there, and it'll start to let you see, oh, this is why I'm showing up. And I think what I can do is help people kind of zoom out to get perspective on that. And at the same time, really fine tune. Like if someone says something to me, I'm kind of like, that's not true. And I'm like, you're BSing me right now, so it's like, and all of that I think is just through decades now of subtly picking up on, and literally this is how I talk about it sometimes. Am I twisted in my body, in my mind, as I try to make this thing happen? Or am I open and free? Is my breath compressed as I'm trying to make this thing happen? Or is it in a place of trust? Is it in a place of love? From that space we create and we connect. And I can say, like, I think that's the reason why this is so important right now, because I think a lot of us have had the tendency to approach things through a level of like the frustration or the manipulation. We don't even realize it. So we perpetuate the problems. We perpetuate the problems that we see in our external world because we haven't learned how to deal with them in our internal world. And for me also, like ever since my early 20s in dancing, it was always, for whatever reason, I was always like, what's going on inside of me? How am I participating in this? And how can I shift the only thing I can control myself to then make support or have the external world show up in the way I want it to? And I'll just say this quickly. One of the lessons I had in that was I was in my early 20s. I was like, I'm a good dancer. Like, why am I not getting work? Why am I not getting work? Why? And I just kept focusing on why am I not getting work? And my wonderful partner at the time was like, my understanding now of what he said is like, it's not going to come with if you're in that space. So I had an office job at the time, and I went in and I was like filing, and I was like, this is so great, like so much gratitude. And lo and behold, like all this dance work came up that I couldn't even say yes to all the projects that started coming towards me. So that I feel like teaching people that we are actually co-creators of what's showing up. I think that's crucial, and it gets people out of their suffering and out of the ways or like into an awareness of seeing that we're actually the ones creating that, and we have a choice to not create that. And then to help our families, to help our partners, to help our friendships. So everyone keeps up leveling. And I feel like it starts, we all have, if you're here listening to this, you have something, you have a body that you're listening to this with, and what a great tool to listen to that, to listen to what's going on in your mind, and then be here now as who you're meant to be, thriving.
Right? I mean, I'm resonating so much with what you're saying, and I'm especially grateful for your skill. And it's interesting, as a performer, as I have been through so much of my life as well, that ability to be that physical intuition that is so informative that you're talking about, and your ability to guide clients who maybe haven't had physical backgrounds or haven't, or reconnecting with them to that sense of listening from that realm. And also the importance of your work right now is just so crystal clear in terms of being able to change an outcome and redirect who you are and why you are, and step into that power to claim responsibility, right? In
Yeah.
time that is calling us to do that, I think, in the biggest way ever.
Yeah. And I think another thing that's really important about that is that as we do step into our truth, there really is, it's the natural alignment of who you are. And by doing that, in some ways it's a selfish thing. It could be seen as selfish to look at what's going on here inside of me, what's going on. But by doing that, you naturally are set up to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
It can't work any other way. Like if you are really with your truth, not running away from it, because that's what a lot of people tend to do. It's like it gets scary and then it's like, let me cover it up with this, let me cover it up with eating, let me cover it up with debt, let me, like shopping, or not being able to be aware. But I think what's so important is, yeah, just as I said it already, but I think it's worth saying again, it's a gift. It's a gift to look at what's going inside of you. It serves your family. Again, it serves anyone who's close to you, and actually beyond, way beyond. I don't think we realize sometimes the effects that we're having on people who are tuned in at some level, or we're just amplifying an overall awareness in the world. And like, that's amazing. I think that's what really changes things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so for an ideal type of client for you, you had mentioned earlier that it's really the people. It's not necessarily like, oh, they're A, B, C, D, but the baseline is that they are ready to make moves and change. They're hungry for
Yeah.
the changes, right?
Yes, like because we can never, that has to be self-propelled. Like I can't teach someone to be inspired to do something. That's part of the truth of who they are. And if I'm in resonance with them, if they're in resonance with what they see me doing, then like let's make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is, I made a big shift in my business where I could tell by just doing the body talk sessions, some people were coming and they were showing up just to get like another Band-Aid put on. I was like, oh, this is really not growing as life is intended to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I shifted my business. I changed it so that when people are ready to commit, they can step in, and they can step in at different levels.
Sure.
But one of my clients said, that I've worked with for a number of years, she was like, you challenge me. It doesn't always feel good, but I know it's worth it, and you do it with love. And that's the truth, right? It doesn't always feel good, but that statement, it will set you free. So I love to hold people to really feeling the space to what's honestly going on inside of them. What is it that they really desire and want to create in the world? And that can be as simple as like, I want my relationship to feel better. I had a person approach, he just saw me as a person with joy. And he was just like, I want more of that. And he was suffering on levels. And we started to open that up for him.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we don't need a bandit anymore. Working with Michelle means you bring it. You got to bring it. You got to do the work, but it clearly yields reward.
Yeah, your Band-Aid is coming off. We got to expose it to the air and really let it deeply, deeply heal. Like another client said to me once, a person who'd worked with me for a long time, she was like, you're like shifting my tectonic plates. So we're like,
Oh, that's the best
like,
testimonial.
isn't it good? It's like we're going foundational to shift it there. And then from there, let's grow the beautiful garden that your life is meant to be.
Oh, who doesn't want to work with Michelle watching this interview, right? So, okay, so you work with people one to one, and then you have courses that you're offering, right? And then you have a monthly intensive workshop, right? So tell us a little bit about each of those opportunities and how, how best to follow you and you have to be on this woman's mailing list, everybody. It's an inspiration just to get it in your inbox.
Thank you. So I have an ongoing meditate, move, heal program, and that combines three of the things I love: meditation, movement, and healing. A person can join at any time. There's a live session that happens once per month, and then a Q&A after that. And when you join, you see the session that's maybe already happened, and then you'll be prepared to be in for the next live session. And the thing with this work too is that you don't always have to be present, which is the amazing thing with energy medicine. You can watch it later, and this is like real quantum theory. It's like the quantum world that exists beyond the time and space as we know it. So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but just to say, with energy medicine, you don't, and mindset work, you don't always have to be there right in the moment. So that's ongoing. That's one of the easiest ways to start. And then I do group programs. I have a self-love course coming up in June. We don't quite have the name yet. I did it 2 years ago, but I'm renaming it. And it's a course, not to just like pamper yourself, but yes, like please pamper yourself along the way, but to really see like how your own sense of self-love and self-worth is related to how your relationships are functioning, how your business is functioning, how your relationship to your body is functioning. And I'm excited about that one because I know, like, even from 2 years ago, I have so much more information to give people about that. I do another course called Go Big. It's a course to support your greatness. That might happen later in the fall. And then there's just like the VIP days I do and the coaching packages if someone's really ready to go deep. And all of that is on my website, MBodyRadiance.com. That's the letter M, MBodyRadiance.com. Or you can go to MichelleBoule.com, and that'll take you to my dance work and my coaching healing work. On Instagram, Michelle.Boule, Facebook, just Google my name, you'll find me, or get on there and look for my name. But yes, get on my email list because I do put a lot of heart into those newsletters that I send out. And I will get people that stop me on the street, or, this happened in New York a lot, like, Michelle, and I'm like, oh, where did we meet? Or like, I get your newsletters and I love them. I send them to my mom every week. Or someone in Chicago was like, you really need to make a book out of those. Or like, writing it, I feel like there is something that I can do in communication. I feel like there's something of articulating all this information that I've studied and making it really translatable for the everyday person to understand it when and if they want to come to it. It's not about forcing anybody.
Right.
It's like when you're ready, the teacher shows up.
That's right. That's right. Translatable. That's the best word that describes, like, because what you're taking the information from is so vast, but you really communicate very well in that way. So thank you. I think we will wrap this up, but thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. It's such an honor to know you and be your friend all of these years. And everyone watching, please share this video with 1 or 2 people. I know 1 or 2 people popped into your mind, if not yourself, when you're watching this. Share it with someone who should see it. And if you're seeing this video outside of my community, the Be Happy Business, please go on over and follow me there for more interviews like this and for other fun and inspiring programming in the personal development and lifestyle realm. So thank you, everyone. All of Michelle's information will be posted with this video, and have an incredible rest of your week. Michelle, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you, Amelia, for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah.